at Eaglewood, which is a state-of-the-art neurological care centre, we have our own rehabilitation centre with a hydrotherapy pool, an OT facility to enable people to regain living skills, and a physiotherapy gym that will assist people in their rehabilitation, learning to walk, learning to use their limbs, and they work very closely with the nursing teams on their units. The care team for each of our care models are specifically trained and skilled and have experience to enable them to care for the residents and their individual complex needs, because each person with a neurological condition is an individual in their own right and have specific individual needs as well as their physical and medical needs. And it's important that the care teams are able to work with the families and with the residents to make sure that all these needs are met holistically.
My name's Lisa Dennis. I'm the unit manager here on Cedar. Jeff was admitted to us a couple of months ago from Kings Lynn. Jeffrey has a form of early onset dementia. So what makes us different here at Eaglewood is the therapeutic interventions that we put in place for our residents. It's the individualised care plans and HAPs that we put in for our residents depending on their needs. We also look at social interaction involving family members and gaining as much life history as we can to ensure that the care we provide through reminiscence is evident and is actual correct for that particular resident. We give the highest quality of care to our residents, ensuring that all their needs are met, ensuring that we see the person behind the dementia and support them individually on a regular basis, evaluating what those needs are and how we can support and reassure that individual. When he came into us, he was on a lot of medication, a lot of antipsychotic medication, and our main focus here is allow the residents to be as natural as possible and see their personality shine through. And when the resident is on antipsychotic medication, unfortunately that doesn't allow, that suppresses the emotion and suppresses their personality. However, in a controlled environment, which we supply here, we can titrate the medication and decrease it accordingly, which allows for the family members when they come in to have that positive interaction with their family member, their loved one.
It really has improved a hell of a lot. They took him off this drug now, and I find that he is a lot better because he was just sleeping all the time. It changed my life as well, completely, because I know that he's safe. I'm really happy that he's here, and I'm going to have a really great time with him.
Harry's condition, MND for short, but motor neurone disease, it's a disease that affects the nerve impulses to the brain. And so it's a progressive illness, so over time he will eventually lose the ability to use certain muscles. Currently he's actually doing really well, maintaining his independence. Harry communicates well. Cognitively he's able to understand everything, and so he's able to use his iPad. And he uses his iPad just how we're talking. So he can express himself with no problem whatsoever. As long as you can read, then you can speak to him. We allow Harry to be independent because that's the kind of man that he is. Where we actually rehabilitate here, whereas we know that Harry's condition is progressive. So what we try to do is maintain the level of function that he's got now. The benefit here is that he can still live independently despite being in a care centre. It is his home, and he can have people visit as long as he likes, and he can go and come as long as he likes, so long as we know he's safe.
I was diagnosed on November the 2nd, 2007. The nurses and carers here are like my extended family. Lots of hugs, and I do have my favorite carers. No names. I love the fact that PJ Care is a family business. I love making the staff laugh. My warped sense of humor was something I thought I would lose with losing my speech. I used to come out with one-liners, not since 2010 when I lost speech, but that's life. I am so very grateful to all at PJ Care. Jan Flawn and her management team have been so supportive. My future plans are to continue to raise funding to rid the world of MND.
Adam is a lovely young man. Again, he was admitted to us basically being told that there wasn't anything else that could be done for him, and he could barely lift his head off the pillow when he was first admitted to us. And our multidisciplinary team and Adam himself have worked very, very hard to enable him to be now sitting upright in a normal wheelchair, and he is walking, and not walking totally independently now, but he will. And very soon we're going to have a round the table meeting to agree a discharge plan for him to go home and live with his girlfriend or fiance now, because he's got engaged while he was staying with us, to live semi-independently back out in the community, leading as normal a life as possible, after again being told that he would be flat on his back for the rest of his life.
My name's Maya and this is my fiance Adam. He wasn't in a very good way when he first came here. He literally couldn't feed himself, he couldn't talk, he couldn't walk, he was very thin as well. So he hadn't had any physio, and they didn't do a lot with him in hospital. So obviously he was very fragile, his muscles he had no muscles in his legs. He was really thin, he was really thin, weren't you? He's progressed really well in here. The physio have got him up and running and going. Yeah, so he's done really well. I'm really proud of him. Well, basically it was Valentine's Day, and I got here and there was a nice rose on the table and a card, and all the carers were all smiling at me, and I was like, oh God, what's happening? And he was sat there, and I opened the card, and he written himself in it, will you marry me? And there was a ring on the table as well. Adam wants to go back to Stamford, don't you? I think he's going to live with his dad for a while when he comes out of here, and then in a couple of months' time or a year's time we'll probably move in together.
I'm Johan van Zyl, CEO of PJ Care. The most important part of this company is about caring for residents, caring for our residents and giving them a home, to part with their family members and leave them here with us in our care. That it takes a lot of commitment from them, and also a lot of, may I use the word, grit. We at all times give as much of our time to the residents' families to make sure that they feel comfortable and happy being part of the PJ Care family. We will continue to be on top of any technical developments in the medical field. We are involved in research together with specific universities in the area to make sure that we as PJ Care and our staff stay on top and be in the forefront and leading the field of specialized neurological care. Our passion to care and look after our residents will always be the first thing in our minds when we start our day, and when we sit down in the boardroom, and when we plan the next project for PJ Care. And therefore I can conclude in saying that Eaglewood, with all its wonderful facilities, is just as good as the people working inside of Eaglewood. We are a people's business. To have happy staff, happy family members will obviously reflect on what we do for our residents.